I'm going to say this directly. People like Malika Andrews and those other people on ESPN and stuff like that, you guys should be really looking at this situation and just going, yo, this chick really, really set us back a lot. What's up, bro? Welcome back to Cancel Thoughts. It's your boy, Better Days here. For the past couple of years, we've gotten some sort of viral story coming out of Hollywood or Hollywood-related in some way, shape, or form. And I don't necessarily know if it's something that's planned or if it's something that's opportunistic, but it is damn sure entertaining. Last year, we got the whole Shannon Sharpe and Cat Williams interview that kind of exposed Hollywood. And this year, by now, you guys have seen something about the Fox Sports scandal, which is kind of funny. But I'm not necessarily going to be going through the entire lawsuit today. I think a lot of channels have already done that, and I didn't necessarily feel like reading the entire lawsuit. However, I am going to be showing you guys a little clip from Jason Whitlock, who is somebody who used to work at Fox Sports, talking about it a little bit. But before we get into it, you guys already know I'm about to ask you guys to do me a solid and hit that like and subscribe button for more content. I'm trying to make sure as many people find this channel as possible, and the only way I'm going to do that is with you guys' help.
And I don't say this to be hypercritical of Joy Taylor. I don't have harsh opinions of Joy Taylor. She's not someone that I didn't get along with. I basically, for the most part, just kept my distance from Joy Taylor. And I kept my distance not because I didn't like her, it's just because I knew myself. I know myself. I know what I'm capable of. And that big rack of hers that she showed off constantly, it's just, and that peanut butter skin with that big rack, like, Jay, keep your distance. That's going to get you into trouble.
Hey, he's not wrong. Them things are massive, yo, and she is attractive. So basically what he's saying here is it's not that he didn't like her, it's that he did, and he knew that he wasn't necessarily trying to get into those problems. And I understand it, man. Listen, there are attractive girls all over the world, and you can get yourself in a lot of trouble if you don't necessarily know yourself and if you don't necessarily know how to kind of act and maneuver around certain people. And it's funny to me that he's talking about it in such like a blunt manner, but he's not lying, yeah.
And so that's what I did. I kept my distance. Because when you put some woman in a job, talking sports with a bunch of men, it's a job she's not qualified for. She's talking sports with professional athletes, people that did it at the highest level. She's talking sports with me or Colin Cowherd or other people that have like really studied sports at a super high level. What does she have to offer other than her sex appeal? And so should we be surprised that she leaned into that? No, we should. They put her in that position where it's the only thing she had to offer. And so she offered it up and got what she wanted. Let's think this through.
Before he even continues, that one of the first things that people are going to say is, well, is she unqualified because she's a woman? No, it's not that she's unqualified because she's a woman. She's unqualified because she doesn't necessarily have the background or the history to be qualified for it. If she was somebody who had worked in the industry for 10 or 15 years or something like that and worked her way up level by level by level, people would understand a little bit more as to why people are saying some of this stuff about, well, you guys are just sexist. No, it's that she was working with a bunch of people who were way more qualified than she was, and she had little to no experience whatsoever.
If you go into the lawsuit and the things that Nusheen says and the way she says things played out, Joy Taylor was some sort of fill-in talk show host down in Miami who, people in Miami kind of knew who she was. I think she may have had some association with Dan Le Batard or whatever, but she hadn't taken Miami by storm as a radio talk show host. She was a little extra, attractive girl. Jason Taylor's sister. Hey, let's put her on radio. But she hadn't really done anything. But somehow she's qualified to be the host of Undisputed, a debate show between Skip Bayless, who, like him or not, was an accomplished sports journalist for a time, and a Hall of Fame football player in Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe reached the top of the sports industry. Skip Bayless reached the top of the sports media industry. and Joy Taylor had done some radio work down in Miami.
He's not wrong. Listen, there's certain people that you see in certain positions and you just look at them and you look at everybody else around them and you go, something ain't right. You are out of place here. What did you do and how did you get to this position? Because it seems like you're unqualified. You don't necessarily have a lot to say about certain things and it just seems like you just are here. And listen, a lot of us want to say that you worked your way up and I don't necessarily know. These are all still allegations and whatnot and they have to be proven in a court of law and I'm completely with that. And if she proves everything is on the up and up and everything was above board, listen, we will come on here and apologize in any way that we need to. But there are certain people that you see on every single network and in every single kind of just opportunity and everywhere that you see in life and you go, what did you do to earn this position? And I know I'm not the only person that feels that way. So anybody who's trying to cape for her or trying to say, well, she just did what she had to do to listen, I'm not saying don't do what you have to do. And I'm not saying, and I'm not even necessarily upset at the fact that you used her looks and her sex appeal or whatever to get to where she's at. All I'm saying is don't pretend that you got there on the up and up and everything was above board and you actually worked your ass off to get to the position that you were in because you didn't.
What does she have to offer? So how does she get that job? How does she even get that opportunity? Because she's got a big pair of cans and she's, according to Sheen, she's willing to let people enjoy those big cans of her. That's how we got here. And it's not Joy Taylor's fault. And I want to...
Well, listen, it is Joy Taylor's fault, but the fact that he keeps talking about those big yeah. Yo, he's not lying. Listen, man, there's such a thing as pretty privilege in this world, and we all understand it. There's a reason that girls get in the clubs for free and guys have to pay. There's a reason there are certain pretty people on television, and there's a reason certain pretty people get to be wherever they want to be in society, and ugly people do not. That's just a fact of the matter. What I'm much more so upset about is the fact that some people try to make it seem like that's not the case and that they're just normal, just like everybody else, and they had to get it out the mud like everybody else. No, as I articulated earlier, I'm not necessarily even upset at Joy Taylor for using her gifts to get to where she's at. And I'm a little conflicted about this, if I'm being 100% honest, because there's a part of me that's like this whore. But then there's the other part of me that's like, well, at least she's not on OnlyFans and selling whatever the hell to get however many millions of dollars, and she's not corrupting society and the youth in that way. So there's that. But there's also like, listen, if you're going to be out there doing it, and I'm not necessarily condoning this behavior whatsoever, the very least you could do is get to somewhere where you can actually do something like where she's gotten to, which is just like be a sports commentator and do what you have to do to get to where you want to get to. So
it is what it is.
Go through and just, I'm trying not to disparage Joy Taylor, but the facts are the facts. I can remember I'm at Fox Sports at the time, and I ran into some friction because I didn't want a woman on a show that I was doing at Fox Sports. And so this is in 2015, 16 at the very beginning. And I can remember they brought Joy Taylor in for a test on the show that I was doing. Yeah, this is at the time when I was going to be initially doing my own show and Cowherd was doing something else. And just keeping it all the way real, Charlie Dixon wanted her to be involved with my show. And so we brought her in for a test. And I didn't think the test went well.
Some people are going to have an issue with him saying something along the lines of, well, I didn't necessarily want a woman on that show and I didn't want a woman to be a part of that space. And
I completely agree.
There are certain spaces where I don't think women should be either. There are certain spaces that I don't think men should be either. There are certain things that I think a lot of people just like have a problem with and get really emotional about, and we're trying to be inclusive in all spaces or whatever. But there are certain spaces, and I think sports is one of them, where I think men talking to men about sports and women talking to women about female sports is what it should be. I don't think you should be able to commingle or whatever and have women talking about men's sports or whatever and having men talking about women's sports in certain respects, because I don't necessarily think they're even the same sports. I think the athleticism and the understanding of people in certain arenas of sport, especially when it comes to male athleticism and male sports, should be reserved for men, and male spaces should just be kept male spaces, just how I feel like women's spaces should be women's spaces. There are certain expertise expertises that women have that men just do not. That's just the reality of the situation, and you can feel whatever kind of way you feel about it, but I think when you put a female into male spaces, you get inauthenticity and you get stuff like this where people are essentially going to be trying to sleep with that female, especially if she's an attractive person. And sometimes it's not her fault, but other times she knows exactly what she's getting herself into and she's manipulating these people. And you cannot take the nature of human beings out of them. It's just not something that you can do. Men are always going to be attracted to an attractive woman, and women are always going to be able to use that attractiveness to get themselves to places where they want to get to.
And I let everybody know, hey, I don't think this test went well. I don't want, this isn't the direction I wanted to go. I was trying to play nice and trying to meet them halfway in terms of okay, you guys are insisting on a woman being on this show because that's what everybody wants. And I was like, well, you need to bring a grown-ass woman on the show if it's going to be with me. It can't be at this time. This is 10 years ago. Well, Joy Taylor's probably 25, 26 years old. You're talking about, I got a lot of discipline, but 25-year-old with them big cans and that peanut butter skin who has nothing to say, at some point I'm going to lose respect. And I'm like, well, the only thing she's got to offer is them big cans and that peanut butter skin. And so if I got to put up with this, I might as well enjoy them big cans.
Yo, this man is hilarious, but he is not wrong. Listen, and a lot of people have a problem with him saying that, well, he might not even necessarily have been qualified to talk to her or whatever. Yeah, okay, sure. But have you seen the guy that they're accusing her of sleeping with?
He's hideous.
He was not a good-looking dude. He was just a dude in a position of power. And this is something that I'm going to tell a lot of men right now, and people have a problem with this or whatever. Listen, if you're a dude who wants to have your pick of the litter when it comes to attractive ladies, get you some power, get you some influence, get you some money. That's literally the three things, and a lot of ladies are going to be upset about this or whatever, but most of you guys will up those cheeks for a dude with money, power, and status.
And so I said, no, I don't want to put myself in that position. And so I can remember, I brought in Bonnie Bernstein. Bonnie Bernstein's around my age, a few years younger, perhaps. But I was like, she's been around the block. She actually has been involved in sports media for a long time. She might have something of substance to offer. And the test we did with Bonnie Bernstein went much better. And I was like, if we're going to go, they were adamant, no Bonnie Bernstein. When I look back in retrospect, when I say they, I'm talking about Jamie Horowitz. And I don't know if I heard from Charlie Dixon on this, but I'd certainly heard from Jamie. They were adamant. No Bonnie Bernstein. And when I look back in retrospect, I'm not trying to disparage anybody. I'm just keeping it real. This show is called Fearless. I got to tell you the truth so you can understand these things. When I look back in retrospect, they were like, Bonnie Bernstein.
Yeah, that's because she was an older lady and she probably wasn't as appealing to the eye as Joy Taylor is. And listen, let's be 100% honest about this, guys. Joy Taylor's an attractive person. I'm not upset with her for doing what she had to do to get to where she's at. I'm more so upset with the fact that all of these other ladies are out here on the internet kind of just like caping and just going, this is a patriarchal thing. It's not a patriarchal thing. It's just the nature of reality. People are always going to be able to get whatever they want if they're in a position of power and influence, and people are always going to use their advantages to their advantage.
Period.
So when you have an advantage the likes of Joy Taylor and you look like that, I'm not upset with you using it to get to higher echelons of society, if I'm being honest. I'm more upset with the people who are out here on OnlyFans or whatever, just like selling it and just like being vulgar on the internet. But when you talk about stuff like this, if you're going to be somebody who's out here doing it anyway, at least do it like this as opposed to doing it the other way. I'm probably going to end this video there, guys. I want to say this as a final thought, guys. If all of this stuff that we're hearing is true, the people who should be the most upset at her are the women who are in sports media who have actually earned their positions, because this sets you guys back. You guys can slice it however you want to slice it and just go, well, she's just an odd duck or whatever. People are still going to be looking at you guys a certain way, especially if you're a young lady in sports media and you've gotten to a position that's sought after by a lot of people. People are going to be looking at you sideways as well and just going, how did you get there? It doesn't necessarily seem like you're somebody who's got the time in, and you're not somebody who's experienced enough to have gotten to the position that you've gotten into. And I'm going to say this directly. People like Malika Andrews and those other people on ESPN and stuff like that, you guys should be really looking at this situation and just going, yo, this chick really set us back a lot, because now people are just going to be looking at us as pretty faces and not going to be trying to even hear anything that we have to say. And it's not going to necessarily be their fault, because there are examples of this. And again, listen, all of this is allegations and whatnot, and everything still has to be proven in a court of law. And I'm not necessarily saying anybody should cast their aspersions on her right now. But if this turns out to be true, guys, this is a bad look. I don't necessarily have any more thoughts on this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about this entire situation. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me on this video. You guys could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here with me, and I really do appreciate you. If you liked what you heard today, do me a solid and like the video, share the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Those things really do help out the channel a lot, guys. And if you didn't like what you heard, thanks for allowing me to occupy your time. Consider leaving a comment in the comments down below, letting me know exactly what it was that you disagreed with, and maybe we could talk about it. Either way, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for pressing play on this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.